Alright, let's work on rust. We're doing a little plague marine, so we're gonna edit this for a YouTube video, and by edit this I mean I'll cut it and not edit shit. So if I don't interact with you guys in the chat for a little while here, is because of this video, but I'll resume and I'll try to get back to everybody here. So and this is like the easiest way to do rust ever. Okay, like easy. It's impossible. It looks clean, it's heavily rusted, and it's super easy. Like a blind monkey with a paintbrush can do it. So you start on a Rhinox hide base coat or a super dark base coat, dark brown, like this one that we got here. Next up, we're going to use Scrog Brown. And you need like a kind of the bad brush. You know, this guy, nothing special, right? It's kind of trash a little bit. Not even clean properly. Perfect. Perfect. The man for the job, folks. And so we're going to use Scrog Brown, and we're going to kind of dab. We're going to dab our way around here with our shitty brush. And you can do this if you have like a larger area and you don't need to be like super precise. Like if it's the first coverage you're doing on a model or something, you can use a sponge. It will work great. But we're just dabbing, so it creates like this little weird. Well, we're not really dry brushing it, as you can see. It's really random patterns with actual paint. We're really not. There's no dry brushing. It would also work, but I like this a lot better. First of all, because it's quicker and like neater. It's just a tad less messy, but also because it shows the color a little bit more, which I like. But I like patches, because if you look at rust, it's usually in like splotches, I think. So again, so it's really not dry brushing because we're not aiming for like only the edges or anywhere in like particular. It's really what makes this interesting is the fact that it is random, and that's kind of how realistic rust forms. Is it rarely makes a lot of sense. I think stippling would be whoa, and when you have too much, it does this thing. And if you're quick enough, you can save it. I guess this would be as close as stippling as we get here. I think you're correct. And so it's kind of the key to make this, like these patterns look correct, is really into the dabbing or the stippling, and not like you never kind of move your brush on the surface. You always just kind of punch it in. That's why I say dabbing, because it's just little dabs. Because if you start actively painting it, then you're kind of ruining this spatchy effect thing. Stipple effect. It's definitely stippling. This is a stippled. It's just messy stippling, dirty stippling. There we go. We named it. We've cracked the code, people. A little chainmail. So now this effect, while you're doing it, it looks really, really weird and not really great at all. So it's kind of a thing where you have to kind of trust the process, right? Like if you look at it right now and you go like, man, this guy's crazy. This sucks. Skip to later in the video and then like trust the process. Like halfway through, it's not a great process, but once you reach like a certain step, it sort of makes sense. But it's okay that you're like questioning your life choices as you're doing it. It does that. So next, you can use, if you're saying like making maybe a character or something, you can use Tau Light Ochre, and you do the exact same thing that we just did, but lighter. So you'll get like the dark brown, the Scrog Brown that's kind of medium, and then the Tau Light Ochre on top. But I started this video with, this is the easiest way. So this one, not using it right now, but you can. It works. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to use Shining Silver, or a super light silver. And we're going to do pretty much the same thing we just did, but now we're going to really focus on the edges. So not so much stippling, or only maybe stippling around the edges of all these things. And again, this will look weird for a little while, but that's okay. I've seen the movie before. I know it ends well. And you don't have to stick to the only the edges. You can do some other parts as well, but mostly the edges. And as you can see, I'm not even doing all of the edges. I'm just doing some of them. I go fast here because it's kind of easier to randomize if you're not really thinking too much about it, right? And also, I like finishing my model, so going fast here is not really not gonna complain that it goes fast. So now we got kind of our rust effect kind of like locked in place. But what's not working is that all these colors, they really clash together. So the way to kind of unify all this is going to be with everyone's favorite Nuln Oil. And so Nuln Oil is kind of a great equalizer because it will tone down that silver and it will also make like the transition between the orange and the brown much smoother. And then you can be as generous as you like. Like if you were too heavy on the stippling, more Nuln Oil will tone it down. If you were kind of just right, you don't need to overdo it here. I think ours is kind of a happy medium maybe, so we'll not overdo it. Not overdo it, but we won't be shy with it. And then we're kind of being like very careful not to hit the areas around it, like the green and the bone color. We want to save as they are. So, for example, on the sword, I was like not too happy about it. I thought it was a little bit too rough, so I'm putting more shade on there, then maybe less on like other areas, like the chainmail well, the chainmail, because it's all like a bunch of little holes. You can go pretty heavy all the time on it. It will just make it look good. But on the other surfaces, maybe I was a little bit shy. But then on the blade that I do not like that much, slam it on there pretty thick. That's pretty generous, like around the fly. That will kind of showcase it a little bit more next to that green. Be like a cheater's man black lining situation. And so there you have it. So this really did not take long. I didn't start a timer on everything, but this was not long, not complicated. Again, you saw I was using two rather big brushes, like one destroyed brush and one one rather big brush, and success.